Do you want to practice some intros?
Yes.
All right. I didn't even hear it. I just saw it. Like it cut it out because it was so loud.
Never left. Because we can do like, do you know what I really like is like when it pans to the left, or you know when the shot like pans to the left to change scene. That's what I kind of like. Cool.
We can still do that.
Cool.
In fact, we'll do that now, and then I'll go into the intro.
Yes.
Except it won't happen now because I have to do it in editing. But
even better. Oh, that was good. Whoa!
Yeah.
I was when you said it, then I was like, "What's he mean? Is he like gonna do it through?"
No, I was thinking it will change from the intro to now, but the now bit will be me going, "Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another LARP podcast. A brand new setup, a brand new year. It's 2024. We'll pretend it's not 2 months into 2024 already, but we are back to talk about LARP and stuff again. We have a slightly new format. So a few of you already know we've put most of the back catalogue up on Spotify. And going forward, we are going to be doing recordings that sort of fit Spotify as much as they do YouTube. So some of you will be hearing this on Spotify and not seeing our faces. Some of you will be watching and listening to this on YouTube. You will see our faces. But you'll be able to see both types of the same content across two platforms. Lucky you. Yeah. So
more of an audio thing, right? More of an audio thing.
Yeah, we're going to be focusing more on audio and less on visuals. A lot of our videos on YouTube already have a lot of visuals. We've used a lot of imagery and photos of kit and props and stuff. This one, we're just going purely into what's going through our heads, I guess.
Yep.
So, what are we talking about in our first ever episode of this year?
Well, thank you, Mark. We are going to be talking about the run-up to your first LARP event or a returning LARP event. We're going to be talking about sort of the LARP prep you can get up to and what you can do sort of prepare yourself going forwards, like I said, back into the big event. So we're sort of going to probably reference Empire LARP a bit because that's our main system. So it's just easy to kind of naturally revert back to talking about that. But I think you can basically, all of this you can apply to any LARP system with a similar structure that is outfits, lore, and game. So
yeah, absolutely
easily applicable across multiple systems. So I think a good sort of first example, I guess, obviously going into your first event is maybe painfully obvious, but purchasing tickets.
That is a hot topic right now. As of recording, we are on the final eve of the early ticket price for E1 Empire LARP.
Empire LARP, exactly. So, which also, we as exactly right. We've got the tickets purchase for Empire LARP, but obviously we've got the Empire LARP, the first event of the year, coming up. So, but yeah, Mark, like rightly said, Mark said we've got the first or the early booking fee. There we go. Get the words out.
Let me ask you this, Matt. Have you bought your ticket?
No, I haven't. Maybe after we finish recording this, I will purchase my early booking fee. I don't know if other game systems do this, but Empire LARP do. If you get in there nice and early, you get a smidgen of a discount, which isn't to be snubbed at. It's still a couple of pennies off your ticket. So
I think so far it might be the only system that I know of that does early booking discount.
I don't know.
No, I can't think of any others that I've come across. But they all differ in what they do with their tickets, of course.
But again, going back to sort of booking your ticket, obviously, key element of going to any LARP a purchasable LARP is to buy your ticket. And also to kind of reference an Empire, you can leave it till on the day. You can literally rock up if you want. If you're that indecisive, you could turn up the morning of.
Don't do it.
Rock up to the gate.
Don't do it.
Buy. I'm not sure I would recommend it, but then also people's different situations. But so you can literally rock up and pay. The only thing is, I guess with Empire LARP, right? They've then got to go make your player pack and stuff. So
it's the admin
you can rock
behind
up on,
it.
Yeah, you can rock up on the day, pay your ticket, but yeah, there's a bit more admin for the staff.
I guess try and avoid it at all costs. Obviously, sometimes that is unavoidable, but it'll make your life and the organisers' lives much easier if you can book ahead.
Oh yeah. Also, like concessions and stuff like that. Be wary if you can apply for one or you have access to one. Then look into that. Save yourself a bit of money there. Also with Empire LARP, I know, especially if it's your first event, you can get discount off your first ticket if you use discount codes, which players can give you. Every player gets a sort of a reference code, don't they, that they can kind of throw to new players. So in the I guess, save yourself a bit of money if you can. Look into it. If you're a new player or if you can get concessions, do it because it saves a bit of pennies, which would be my advice. So a great place to start with going to your first or a reoccurring LARP. Buy the ticket.
Yes.
And do you know what? Here's another little snippet I'm going to throw in there. Buy the ticket. If you have a smartphone, which most of us do, download said ticket onto your smartphone, because I have been there before where I'm at Empire LARP, again referencing Empire LARP, get to the field, fire up my emails to get my ticket, and I've not got any internet. And then I'm like, I can't do it. I've never been caught out, so it's fine. But yeah, download it, get it ready. Heck, should I say, for the don't know. Print
Instant
it off.
demonetized.
Put it on a bit of A4 paper, and get your PD number on a bit of paper as well for your car if you're leaving your car on site. There we go.
I think you have to.
You do have to
now.
How do you? Fair enough. I haven't, but yeah, I haven't.
Well, you've turned up but not done it.
Yes, I have it on my phone.
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, you need to have your ticket.
Oh
show.
yeah, because tickets. I think they have a QR code on them or something like that. So in theory, they should scan them. Normally, they just kind of eyeball it with me, and they're like, "Yeah, cool." But yeah, also on your car, you have, if you're leaving your car on site, you have to display your PID number, which is the number given to you when you make an account with Profound Decisions for Empire. Again, reference to Empire. So rather than scribbling it on a bit of scrap paper on the gate, which they'll probably make you do, why not come prepared and have it already written down? I'm thinking about having it pre-made. Put in a little photo frame perhaps.
Oh yeah, a little whiteboard.
Yalp themed one, yeah. And then
I
don't know. Then you're literally fully equipped to handle Empire LARP entry gate, and then that's less stress for you.
I assume you have this on the agenda, but obviously we've already done a little something this year already.
We have.
You've done 2 actually.
We have some lovely player events, which we've got a video coming out for at some point.
Have to really preface that with soon. TM.
We may have a video coming out. We have footage shot. We just it's. I guess maybe we want to do a really good job on the video, so it's going to take some time.
Added pressure for the editor there. Whichever one of us that maybe.
Job, yeah, that's the thing. I've tried to palm it off onto you, but I'm not sure if you've bitten it yet. Going back to lovely LARP prep then, Mark. Hit us with our next one. Or do you want me to hit it back? I'm going
to. What I really enjoy about this is I like to play guess what Matt's thinking. So I think you're talking about prepping kit for the big event. Well, if you're going to Empire, the big first event of Empire, but kit prep.
Kit prep.
Absolutely. Is that the next thing?
I mean, I was just whatever you wanted to talk about, but yeah. Or do you want me to talk about? I'll talk about. I'm happy to talk about kit prep. I'm happy to talk. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, no, yeah. We can talk about kit prep. I need to do it. We have obviously started new characters, which you can see here, and further over there.
And it's our Spotify thumbnail thing as well. For those on Spotify, go check it out.
Yeah.
Our
Discord, if you're not in the Discord yet,
Mhm.
that has been revamped with the new logo, which is up there.
And Facebook, soon to be revamped, or already has been revamped. I cannot know at this time.
YouTube has been done. Facebook
Yep.
may have been done.
Mm-hmm.
I need to check.
If not, soon to be done. So yeah, we got some new branding. But I'm sorry to cut you off with the Orc Talk.
No, that's fine. It all ties in because obviously these guys that you see behind us, that is actually taken from a photograph of our new characters. So as of that event, that was the kit set up for us.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you've bought some bits since. I was borrowing some bits, so mine needs amending. But I think we're going to go probably on a bit of a shopping trip, aren't we, at E1?
Yeah, I think we attended Watch Your Game, which is a sort of a LARP market fair in Gloucester, right?
Mhm.
And I was hoping there to be a bit more plunder than there was. So we kind of struck out with that slightly. We didn't get quite what we wanted.
I think it's really great that there is stuff like that around the country that people can go to and get stuff.
Yeah.
It was so insanely busy. It was really hard to shop, and it was
busy.
cramped.
I also decided to take my 4-year-old daughter with us, which meant I couldn't really do much shopping because I was babysitting. But yeah, it was a great, like you say, it was a great opportunity to check out some kit. Also, we've got a couple of things off the top of my head I think would be quite cool to go to get kit, which is like LARPCon and Fantasy Forest, right, which is a place you showed to me, which
Fantasy
has
Forest,
a load of kit. So
I would love to go to. I think it's more like Ren Fair vibe. Compared to actual LARP or anything. It's not LARP or anything like that. It's a music festival, I think, specifically for like low fantasy.
But they've got an absolute ton of traders there selling clothes and stuff. So
yeah,
I mean that's good options for getting kit. Is kind of these sort of events. Obviously, there's tons of online retailers.
there is. Online is hard because you can't see it's just like shopping for everyday clothes. You can't see what you're buying really. But if you get to know the vendors from events, then obviously you know what you can and can't wear from them when you buy online.
Yeah,
it's a good starting point.
I've bought a couple of things online, and I think at least once I've been caught out with trying to figure out sizings and getting it wrong. I think I sized myself up for trousers once at like quadruple XL because that's what the size chart was. So I bought them and I could fit two of me inside them, and I was like, okay, and then had to send them back again. That was like before my first LARP, before
really
my first
heroic
Empire
pants.
LARP. Yeah, and I was just like, okay, these are massive. So I've always been one to kind of be like, the best place to get Empire kit is in the field at Empire because all the retail is, right? And I kind of stand by that slightly. But also, I'm having it with Orc kit, is I want to go to my first event in my finished outfit. And now I'm stressing because I can't get my hands on good kit heading up to these events. Although my kit's 90% done, I feel like now I've got to wait till E1 sorry, to get my last little bits. Which is
I don't think there's anything to worry about. Like you say, you're mostly there. Looking at pictures I've seen of you from events already this year, it looks really good, I think.
Thank you, and likewise. But also, there's still things I want to add. But yeah, I like I said, I feel like I'm pretty happy with it. There's just some bits I want. Like shout out to Dash Shop where I've visited in the last few events, and the more I dig around, the more I'm like, this could be cool orc stuff. So definitely want to visit that place again at Empire. And yeah, just a few other events now. Because I haven't. I think E4 last year was my planned event as an orc, and I was ill and had to leave Saturday morning. So
yeah,
I think I was playing Friday night. I was playing as my old character, and then Saturday I was gonna be my orc, and I was ill and left. So, but that event I bought a couple of orky things, but I didn't have the copper nor the idea of kit. Whereas now I've got some pocket money and I've got a bit more of an idea of an image or something I want to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of now I'm looking forward to E1 to get in there and have a rummage around. Because I remember saying to you, Mark, I think there's some like really cool kit I saw that I thought like it would like the kind of ideas you were feeding me about your character. I was like, oh, that fit in really well. So
yeah,
and it's all kind of ex-theatre stuff or that sort of kit that I think would work well for us. And again, it's hard to find that on like an online retailer because a lot of the LARP suppliers tend to be like new kit, new clothing, you know.
Yeah, and you mentioned my character ideas. I have quite deviated from my initial thoughts in the kit that I wore to the first event that we went to, but not intentionally. And I do want to get back on track with that. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for stuff that will be more fitting with the backstory and the brief that I have in mind. I still need to. I don't know how much we want to give away before the event.
As much as you want, I guess.
So the prop that we talked about that I want as part of my kit. I need to find that. And this is really cryptic for people.
The prop you found at Watch a Game, and you were like, "Ooh."
I don't know if we saw any.
It's not. We're not on about the same prop then.
No. The pickaxe.
Oh yeah, no. I was thinking of a different prop.
Oh, you're thinking of the jacket.
The staff.
Oh, the staff. Oh god, no. No, I can't. I'm not gonna
Not have a staff again.
I'm not gonna have a LARP, like a weapon, a usable weapon staff.
Yeah.
I've made a staff out of an actual stick, and I'm going with that.
That's the way I did it last time, and no problem with it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend money on something that I'm barely gonna use because I haven't got any real intention of fighting in a fight. I might go to do ritually stuff maybe, or just hang out. Maybe do an instrument. That's always I might do some non-con stuff.
Yeah.
Try and add to the ambiance.
Going off on a slight tangent. I want to do. Obviously, I'm gonna have to do monstering if I want to fight. I was thinking of just going a bit of non-con, go as healing like I did last event I played. I was going as a healer, as an enemy, monster healer, and it was really good fun. So yeah, if you were thinking about non-conning, maybe that's an option for monstering.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I haven't given it much thought, to be honest, other than just then because we were talking about like staffs as weapons. But I don't have any much like I guess with Lucan, I don't have that much of a desire to fight, really. And that's gonna bleed over into my orc character too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. You play the game you want to play. Like I've only really got an interest in fighting again because I've changed up how I'm fighting. I'm going as a ranged fighter now.
Oh yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so sword and board for me, just no interest. Again, the Imperial Orcs fight a completely different way to the Imperial Orcs. I think they were described to me as sort of heavy skirmishers. You know, they're almost like shock cavalry type, in my opinion. You know, they're there to punch holes, and then they're not there to hold the battle line. They're there to smash holes and kill people. So, which is a more appealing to me because that's how I'd want to fight. So I was kind of torn between ranged or going as a pole arm and having like strike down or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm at that. I've gone ranged now. I've got a dagger. I'm gonna pick up another dagger. Hopefully, I'm gonna get poison on my daggers. By the way, Mark, I'm gonna get venom on them. I've decided, so I'm gonna have a venom dagger, which I think is like once a day or so, and I can use venom on it.
Cool.
So that's what I really want to do. And then,
that's a good idea.
anyone wants to mess with me, I'm gonna be like, something like, do you know, I've got it in my head. Like I'm gonna be like some scout guy who kind of shoots people with arrows. And then goes up to them and like scalps them or interrogates them or something like that. So it's going to be a bit brutal.
Nice.
Which doesn't lend into my sort of Labrador behaviours as a human being, but a golden retriever of a bloke. But we'll see.
I think you'll be able to pull it off. Just have some beers before the fight.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I hoping to just get into it, but yeah. So obviously, until we play, right, it's hard to really get into the mindset. When I think it took me probably 2 years to get into Saren's mindset, and his mindset was literally me dressed up. So
obviously, kit is but one small part of rounding off your character as a whole. There's a whole other heap of stuff that goes into getting your character ready for, well, even the next event from the previous one. It doesn't have to be your first event. So I think it would be good for us to chat about a bit about world building, character, backstory kind of stuff, or how you want your character to interact with the world. I think is probably.
I think a great way to look at it is obviously going into your first. It's almost homework in a way. Going back into an event, like for example, like what we're doing now. We're going into our next event, our first one back, the Long Dark. You know, and I'm kind of running up into. I'm kind of thinking, what do I want to be as a character? You know, and then sort of where does my character want to be? Have I got a goal in mind? Like I know you've got some goals. I've got some ideas in my head. And I kind of think like it's a good way if I'm thinking about where I want to be as a character and a player, that is as well. I kind of think like where I want to be, and then I kind of think that's going to make your first event back or your first event ever probably a lot easier. If you've got a direction, not necessarily a goal, but a direction, or in fact, yes, maybe a goal, but not a whopping great big goal like becoming the Empress. Or Emperor, you know. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I know. Again, I know we've spoken, and I don't think I want to give too much of my character away at the moment. But I've been trying to find a purpose, and I think I'm getting there. You know, I've had a couple of play events to talk about, and I'm getting to that point where I've like kind of found a purpose. And again, I've had a couple of play events, which has kind of helped me get in to the mindset, but I'm really buzzed for E1 because I'm hoping I can just hit the ground running with this idea. You know, I've already got a few contacts that I can go talk to, and they're happy to help. So, yeah, I think kind of getting your sort of your own character sort of headspace set. It's just a great way to you help. What's it? Failing to prepare is preparing for failure, essentially. So, yeah, kind of, which is not something I normally do. I'm sure, Mark, you can agree that I'm kind of maybe that lends itself to my old character, which was a whole other thing. Whereas now I'm like,
I think we are similar in how our brains work. In that, I did no prep at all for anything for Lucan at all. And it was just winging it every time.
Would you say that you've like comparing your new character to Lucan is like I feel like your new character you've got this grand idea which is going to give you something really to chew on, which arguably you could say Lucan never had. So
yeah. So what I was going to say is I think it's really hard for brand new players to. Again, obviously, we're using Empire as an example, but
Hmm.
I imagine it's the same for any system that you start the first time.
Hmm.
It's really difficult that first time because you just don't know exactly how you're
Hmm.
gonna interact with the world. And I think
Hmm.
like Lucan was an extension of me, like you said,
Yeah.
Saren was an extension of you. But yeah, I feel that this character now for me is way more prepared, and I think has got
Mm.
a much more I don't know I don't know what the right term is, but the goal I have in mind, I sort of have it
Hmm.
in plain sight. There's
Well,
there's not a lot
yeah.
to distract me. I don't think.
I think going back to kind of you saying like it's hard, you don't know how you're going to react to the world. Like I think the best that we it is role play. In the end of the day, we're role playing. The best D&D online role players, like I think you might find that you might be kick ass at D&D online with your mates, and even role playing with the bubbler mates. But to go out into a world, a physical world, and role play in person is a whole other kettle of fish. Coming from someone who I felt used to feel real confident in social situations. Now I occasionally get struck with sort of a mild social anxiety and therefore struggle to just walk up to strangers.
Mhm.
Um, which again, it's always something to bear in mind is you're interacting with real life people at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But
I'm exactly the same. It's really
yeah.
hard to it's really hard to walk up to people that you don't know and just start
Hmm.
role playing.
Hmm.
I think it's also difficult to interact with people that you know really well
Hmm.
as a completely different person that you've never met before.
I've I've got an absolute brilliant segue. If you don't mind me taking us on a journey.
If you mean if
So
you mean tangent, then yeah. Unless
no,
it
this
unless it
is
relates to
a segue.
okay.
So it's an allowed tangent.
Well,
So going back
the listeners
to
and I will be the judge, but go for it.
you just said new players might find it difficult, and
Mhm.
I'm going to bring in a new player. I'm going to quote a new player, and that's Becca from Navarre fame, our Navarre um, episode we had,
Oh
which
yeah,
you can find on YouTube and our Spotify.
they
Um,
are now in Urushka,
oh, yeah, so they're
I believe. But yes,
Rivadi. Oh, I'm terrible with in-character names and
Rivadi was
out-of-character
their
names.
Navari character.
Rivadi was the Navarre character. So Becca was a person who hadn't been to Empire before. Um, similar to like how we started as our new characters, hit a load of player events. But what they did do, and this is where the segue is, and also I've got a personal story about this. They went on the wiki and learnt a hell of a lot about the Empire world itself and a topic that interested them. So this is the segue of obviously getting your characters set and straight, but also sort of learning about the world you're going into, which is kind of something we were just talking about. So
Hmm.
learning about the fantasy world you're going into, or whatever LARP system you're going into, finding about that world. Um, and like I said, Becca basically did that, chose a subject, the Valorn, learned a hell of a lot about it, and basically almost became the advisor of the Valorn. I think their friend they went to, again, same position, new player, became the advisor to the Valorn on their like first or second event, literally because they just learned so much stuff about it. So, and this is kind of going back into my own personal story of I was at Reaper's Ball. Okay, so I went to an event with Mark as our Orc characters, Jackdaw's Rest, and I struggled to socialise pretty much most of the event. I think Mark did pretty well. You could just talk to people, which is great. I kind of couldn't. I struggled in certain aspects of it. However, going to that first event made me realise what I should I should know as an Orc character. Because hands up, I didn't know. Like I didn't do any homework going into that first event, or like first event as an Orc. I didn't go read the wiki and go what should I know as an Orc. I just didn't do it because I'm lazy and
Well,
maybe
I
lazy,
don't think
but
lazy is the right word, but definitely were a pair of hypocrites telling people to
Yes,
be prepared. Because
I didn't.
I don't think I read the wiki as Lucan.
No. Well,
Maybe
yeah.
since the second event, maybe it's like
So
5 years ago.
here's my point. We went to Jackdaws. I got in were involved in a few conversations with a friend orc we had that took us with them. And they were just rattling off this knowledge of current events, getting a game, and I was stood there in the sort of conversation like an absolute lemon because I didn't know a single thing about it, and it made me kind of feel a bit uncomfortable. And again, in my own doing, and that kind of thought I struggled to get into that role playing environment. So what I did, I literally went home, and I think just read up on the wiki, because I was like, okay, there's this topic I should know about.
But before you go too far down this explanation,
Mm-hmm.
that I have to say, I think that's only something that you felt. I don't think anyone thought who was in any of the
Yeah,
conversations were probably thinking, "Well, this orc doesn't know anything about orcs." I'm pretty sure that
I
didn't
mean,
happen. Nobody needs to know anything about
but
anything that goes on.
I personally felt uncomfortable because I
Yeah,
didn't
but I
know.
think it's important that that won't be the same for everyone. I think
I mean,
you need to make that clear.
this is coming from someone who is struggling in social situations at the moment. So yeah, I couldn't just turn around and go, "Oh, cool, go on, tell me about yourself." But I just can't do that at the moment. So, and then this is going into something that happened at Reaper's Ball, which is another play event, which Mark couldn't attend. So it was kind of a blessing, a curse and a blessing, because it was a shame Mark couldn't go because I didn't get to spend time with him. But also, it meant I couldn't just sit there and talk to Mark the whole event and not go out and do it.
I thought the
So
blessing was going to be that I wasn't there, but that's good to know.
and Mark wasn't there, which is a blessing. So I knew of a couple of orcs that were going. One I know out of character, sort of. I've met them a few times as my old character, so I know of them. I'd like to think they know my face through those previous engagements. So I knew they were going, and then I knew another orc was going. So I kind of had it in my head. Basically, in the meantime between these two player events of what, about a month? Do you reckon?
Mm-hmm.
About a month. I've been reading the wiki. There's a topic, sort of a hot topic at the moment, right? It's a bit of Empire lore going on, or a bit of Empire plot going on. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to read all about this. Me and Mark have been talking about it as well, messaging kind of bit like, oh, let's learn up on this because it plays into our characters. So
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm going to go to this event. I know there's a important orc there that I can talk to about this subject, so I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to get passionate about it, and I'm going to go hit him and talk to him, and that's going to give me a reason to talk to someone, get game. And that's literally what happened. I went to the event, bumped into him, said hello, had a nice sort of like a 30-minute chat between the orcs that were there. There's only three of us about this topic. So they were talking about a topic. I could jump in and be like, what about this? What about this? They could be like, I could actually ask a question that I wanted to know about the subject. They could then bounce it back. I got some good answers, and it just kind of it made me feel confident in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that, and also I was lucky these two orcs were absolutely smashing, and they were like, I'll tell you what, like, come hang out with me. Don't be on your own this tonight, because obviously there's a lot going on. So they're like, come hang out with me. So I was lucky that I could just hang out with them and kind of keep myself going. But it's just the fact that I had that knowledge. I was confident in going into conversation. And then the amount of times I bumped into people at the event that I started talking to about this topic, or some little orc topics. It just made me feel so much confidence. And then I've got like a lovely Varushkan that I was talking to sort of the end of the night, where I was just sort of talking about politics essentially. But I just felt so confident in it, and it made the roleplay easier for me. So it's what I'm trying to get at is, I personally felt by having knowledge on a certain subjects, or a couple of sort of important subjects, just made me confident in the roleplay, and it helped. Again, for someone who can't just go up to someone and be like, hey, what's your name? I could just be like, so, have you heard of Darth Plagueis the Lies, for example? Okay.
I heard a quote today that I think is very
Go on.
fitting for this exact scenario that you've summed up. And I heard it on Gladiators that I watched just before we started recording this.
Yes.
And it's really simple. It's just success loves. I forgot it now.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. So nice. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh my god, I've actually forgot it. I forgot the word. Success loves preparation.
That is
And
nice.
that is exactly what you've just described. I think a little bit of prep goes a long way, and I don't have a LARP experience of that, but I obviously did something recently that I prepared a lot for, and it paid off.
Yeah.
And it's not something I've historically done. Like, I've usually just put it off, and I'll be like, it's fine, I'll just wing it on the day. And for once, I didn't do that.
I think our catchphrase, maybe not for long, is "we'll just wing it." Right. I think that was with Jackdaws. When we went to Jackdaws event, we were like, "We'll just rock up and wing it." I think that was because it was a very last minute booking, wasn't it? We booked on the event very last minute. We're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we'll rock up and wing it."
Less than 2 weeks, no kit.
Yeah. Mark had no kit about the week before. Yeah. So that used to, but yeah, like you said, success loves preparation is a lovely way to sum it up. For me, obviously talking situational, but personally for me, and it's sort of encouraged me now to go out and do a bit more homework. Because I'm like, do you know what? Now I've got this topic that I want to just get my teeth into. I probably need to know a bit more. And then going off the success story of Becca's friend, who I'm terrible with names. I could flip back and check them out on YouTube, but I'm not going to right now. But they literally just learnt, and therefore got a decent position in the game. And you kind of, I guess, if you become a bit of knowledgeable on a topic, you're naturally going to sort of gravitate players towards you that need information.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of talk about like senators, for example. Everyone always wants to talk to a senator. So, if you do your homework, you do your hard graft, you get into that position or that title, you're going to be rewarded by game and stuff like that. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think
that's how I look at it.
Really, a really good idea for anyone wanting to have as good of a first time as they can, or a returning time, is to just know vaguely at least what's going on in your nation, because the stuff that we've talked about specifically for the orcs, a lot of it is new, a lot of it is developing as it goes, and there's a lot of great potential for us to be quite heavily involved, and I'm sure that's the case for every other nation except Wintermark. I'm joking. I love and miss Wintermark.
Maybe we're in a nice point in time where there's some juicy drama going on that we get to be involved in, as our lucky nation of Imperial Orcs.
Yes. So we've gone from a really busy, really big nation where I think it's a bit difficult to get into a lot of stuff, to
maybe
a nation that is a lot smaller, but has an equal amount of stuff going on, with a lot less people to fill the spots in it.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I think we said this before with the Imperial Orcs. Like having a smaller nation is maybe a good thing. I don't want to say too much and it'd be wrong or something. I don't know.
No, we won't go into
specifics.
Could
get there and it could be an absolute bare knuckle box for anything. Who knows?
But it makes me intrigued as to what else is going on in other smaller nations too, like Urizen, for example.
Yeah,
it must be quite not necessarily easy, but I think there's a lot of potential to get involved in plot a lot of the time, I think.
Probably. Yeah, I think unfortunately the larger nations, there's just a lot more people wanting to do the same thing as you, or something like that. So smaller nations, yeah, but it makes it sound like we've just gone to the Orcs for game because it's easy, but it's not.
No, I think this is only something we've recently discovered from all the goings on that we've been sort of in the channels that we've been in.
I'm wondering, right? that since we've sort of refreshed, we've got a new character, we got a new perspective on the game.
Yep.
We're looking, because for all of a sudden I'm like for example, this sort of big plot point we're focusing around as our characters. All of a sudden it's like why have I never really been involved in something like that in Wintermark? Why have I never really taken an interest in something like that in Wintermark? Was it Wintermark's fault? Was it my fault? I don't know. Obviously, can't really blame Wintermark's fault, but was it something like, for example, bigger nations? There's only so many people that can be tackling an issue, perhaps. And if you're in a big nation, it's harder. I honestly don't know. But all of a sudden, I've got an interest in these things that are coming up.
Yeah,
I've got an interest in foreign affairs, and
I think it's just maybe because it's just a fresh character.
Yep.
And there's probably more of a drive to immerse yourself.
Yeah.
And we've learnt from previous experience of not being able to be as involved.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm just wondering if we are concentrating our game with these new characters. We played quite a chill, wide one, whereas now we're maybe... Because I don't know if I've said before, I feel like the Orcs are an opportunity to, not intense roleplay, but to get a bit more heavy with the roleplay because of... I feel like maybe it's a roleplay heavy nation because you're a different race to the rest of the world in a way, or rest of the playable nations. We physically have different religions in a a
Yeah, without getting too bogged down in the Imperial Orcs.
Yeah.
I have found the mask to be empowering or emboldening, I guess. From the only event that I've done it, but I would have, like, I think I did way better having a mask on for some reason at that event. It made me feel more immersed.
I agree. I feel like I thought I would feel better wearing the mask. I thought I'd feel a bit more like completely in character. But anyway. But what I have noticed is the random positive interactions I've had because I'm an Imperial Orc. Purely because I'm an Imperial Orc. Like we had some people compliment on us kit. I think I've joked about it before with you, Mark. Obviously not on the podcast because it hasn't existed as us being Orcs really at this point. On the bit of the break, but like I think people just like the Imperial Orcs because they're like Imperial Orcs. Like we have a player event. We went to a player event. I think they just like the fact that they had Imperial Orcs there because people see the Imperial Orcs as just something they really like the look of, And then like we get when I went to Reapers, I was chatting to a friend that's Imperial Orc. And like the photographer came over to us and he was like, I just want to say, like, I think it was the photographer. I was telling you about this, Mark. I was like, someone came up to us and he was just, I just want to say, like, someone I brought along is a new player, and they were like, when you guys walked into the room, they were like, oh my god, it's my first Imperial Orcs, and they just loved it. And you're like, that's awesome. This presence you bring along with you unknowingly.
Yeah, and you don't know until you do it.
Yeah.
And again, for me, it's only been one experience, one event, but to have somebody come straight up before we'd even timed in and say like, you all look amazing, that was really nice to hear.
I know it goes from my random interactions as my previous character, which is, are you a Stormcrow, to, wow, you look cool. Yeah,
you're definitely an Orc.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I get more of that, because Sauron would get confused as a Stormcrow twice a day at an event.
Yeah,
all the time.
You'd get confused as that other guy who looked like you a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There was a few, actually. There was 3 or 4 of you walking around the field. I swear it wasn't you, and it was you, and then it wasn't again.
There's at least one other that looked like me, yeah. So yeah, it's just really cool to have that, even though we've slightly gone off on a tangent. But orcs are cool, essentially, is the lesson. And success loves preparation.
Yeah. Success loves preparation. We'll put that
I guess
somewhere in the Discord.
yeah, tattooed on our foreheads. Talking. Go another. It's not a segue. It's a forced segue, Mark. But we're talking about like I guess knowing your world, knowing your character, homework. Like going on to maybe I don't know if this is perhaps the last thing we can talk about at LARP prep, I guess. But something I've been working on and you've been working on is camp and sleeping.
Oh, yes, good one.
Because this is something you kind of need to sort out. Right?
Yeah.
I guess it's without going into Empire sleeping because we've done this before, but you can do so in character camping and out of character camping. No, we camp out of character, don't we?
Yes.
Now we don't go in tents.
No.
I'm saying that because I know you are and ahhing about it.
Well, I've got a maybe juicy update that you don't even know about yet because I only.
Ooh, you bought that yellow van.
No,
Can't believe it.
I really want that yellow van, but I did look it up on the MOT thing, like on the government website.
Yeah.
No, it's MOT'd until November, I think. But there's been a recall on the car, on the van.
Something about Mercedes. Every Mercedes I get into recently have recalls. My van's got a recall.
I don't know what it is, but
I don't know.
It's been recalled. It might have been seen. The previous, it's done nearly 350,000 miles.
Yeah, don't get that one.
Which is a lot, and it's not for sale. I've just seen it on the side of the road, but it's not. It's not. That's not what I was going to tell you about.
I want to talk about something a camper van, but anyway, you say your thing, and then if I can, I'll circle back around.
We are in discussions about what we are going to do. Obviously, as you know, we only have one car at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And we discussed, this is me and the wife, for anyone who's not, anyone who's still in the dark about who I mean.
This is red hot information as well, hot off the press.
It is. There's talk about maybe I will pick up a small
moped
van of some kind. As in,
yes,
real small, like a builder's van, maybe smaller than yours.
Yeah.
Like a is it a Berlingo?
Yeah.
And then just kit out with literally just a bed in the back, and then space for my kit.
Amazing, mate.
Yeah.
What
so, thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, I don't think we've discussed my current setup because I only bought that car. Oh no, I bought it last year.
Well, let's talk about current setup rather than potential future.
My current setup is just in the back of the car with a mattress, which is fine. It's actually really good, but there's not any space to sort of stand and get ready.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
So that's what I'm looking on doing, having something that I can stand and get ready in, and then M can have the car.
Yes. Something like talking about my sleeping arrangements. I have a van and I put a bed in it. And previously, it was really awkward. I had a van going sort of the length of the van, and it just made things real awkward. Whereas I've recently moved the bed to sort of the back of the van, and it goes across the van. So in theory, it's going to really change games and be great. So, but I get what you're saying about sort of wanting space to get changed in. Like, again, this is pros of having a tent, right? But like, if it's raining or whatever, or it's muddy, you don't really want to be just walking around in the grass trying to get changed.
Yeah,
you want to be able to sit in something and get changed.
I
mean, we try camp next to each other as well, so we can kind of use each other's bits and bobs if we need to.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be much standing space in the size of van that I was looking at, though. That's the only thing.
I don't think there would be.
But I don't want to go too big.
I mean, I can't stand up in my van either. So
no.
But I was going to say about my van as well. I've rigged it up so I can put an awning on the side now. So now
Yes.
there's like I got an awning set up, so I'm gonna have outside standing space as long as it's not a bog out there.
But I
So-
think we can, like, you can put your boots and bottoms on, sat on the edge
Oh,
of the
yeah.
van.
Yeah.
So
I can
as
do
long
it
as
sat on the
that's
bed,
doable,
Yeah.
the rest of it you can put on outside.
Yeah.
Under the gazebo.
Yeah.
Awning.
Yeah. The main thing for me, I think, when getting ready, say let's get ready outside of a tent, is being able to get your boots on, and like top half, isn't an issue for me. So
Mhm.
as long as I can get like my trousers on, my socks on, my boots on, I'm pretty much done then. I can get changed outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like, but then this is challenges we have to deal with. But
It's all part of the experience.
Yeah, I think 5 years in, and we've had a drastic change in how we used to camp in character, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've made that shift away from that with the in theory of making our events easier, because camping in character is great, but you've got to set up your camp and take it back down again and get on and off the field, which can take a while. I'm not gonna make it sound terrible, but it can take a while getting on and off the in character field. So where we camp out of character, we just kind of rock up, roll out of bed, put your boots on. That's the way we're running it at the moment, isn't it? And it's great.
It's so easy. It's so much easier than what we had to do before, and I think it's helped get us out and about more because we don't have the safety net of a camp to sit at high sea. So
yes,
I guess for people listening, if they're not sure whether they want, if I would say if you want to get out and about, then I think OC camping is great because you are sort of forced to go out and about to find things that are going on.
Yeah. I would agree with you, but then also I've seen plenty of people go back to the out of character thing to just chill out for a bit. Like which
is also fine.
Yeah, living our game lives in character all the time. Like we would spend like 90% of our weekend in character. And then, a thing I've started to realise, again, is fine, is there's actually quite a lot of people that will go into the field for a few hours and then go back for lunch for an hour or two into the out-of-character thing and just have a chill out there and then, like, head back in. They treat it a bit more of, like, a hop in and hop out, whereas I always used to be like, I'll live in character, essentially,
Yeah.
Which is another interesting way of looking at it. Which,
it's down to individuals', I guess, preference, but I think it's beneficial to have a little break from it, even if that is just stepping out into the out of character for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Bit of a recharge on the batteries,
which is needed. So it's going to sound really silly, Mark, but Mark knows. For everyone who doesn't know, and for anyone who cares, I was building a wardrobe yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big wardrobe, but it took me 9 hours. And my body hurts so much.
Was it an IKEA wardrobe?
It was a B&Q, but it's the same thing as flat pack.
Yeah.
And it's just reminding me of like sort of you're getting to the end of the weekend. And your limbs are hurting. Like I always get it where I walk around so much as my previous character, and then like at night I'd always get cramp or something like that, and then just like my legs are just tired. Anyway, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling like I've just done an Empire event where my legs are really sore, and I'm just.
I bet it was easier to do a camp setup than it was to do the wardrobe.
It was tough, mate. Yeah. Very tough.
I find
to keep my composure as well.
I always find the more I walk, the better I sleep at Empire. I feel like I have to get a certain amount of walking in to be able to crash out. I don't know. Weird.
I honestly. Oh, sorry. I don't. I couldn't remember apart from I'm buzzing about next event because my bed is now really comfortable. Beforehand, my bed's never been quite actually any good. Right. My built bed has always been a bit crap. Whereas now it's legit. So I'm buzzing. So in theory, I should get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, Nice.
Because normally I'm just like awake every few hours at Empire.
Yeah.
So sucks.
That's probably about all we've got time for today. We've covered a few bits about getting your character back into LARP, or maybe for the first time, with plenty of tangents along the way, which is our signature move, I would say, these days.
Yes. It's
But,
very on brand for us.
It is. It is. But yeah, here's to I guess, amazing 2024 of LARP. I think we've got a lot of cool stuff planned. Maybe an episode coming up of 2023 roundup / 2024 look ahead.
Some would say an extremely long overdue 2023 wrap up.
Yep.
But it's coming. Don't worry.
We'll just pretend that we recorded it at the end of 2023.
Yeah.
And only just released it now.
Yeah. So we'll have to record the second half first, and then shave our beards, and then record the first half.
Yeah. Good idea. Very good idea. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the episode. As we said at the start, we now have Spotify, so definitely check us out if you are into listening to stuff without having to see our faces.
Perhaps you're driving to Empire right now.
That is quite a good idea.
Want to check Spotify on.
We could do a Driving to Empire special that people could put on the way to the event, where we talk about things that are coming up at the event.
What, all the
winds
and stuff? Oh, that'd be intense.
That will be intense.
But the problem is they don't leave winds. The last winds released an hour before time in. So
we'll be live. We'll be on our new Yet Another LARP podcast radio.
Yeah, channel
85.4.
85.4 AM.
AM, yeah, that's the cheapest one, I think.
But yes, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you everyone. If you're watching this, you've already found our YouTube, but if you're on Spotify and you haven't seen our YouTube stuff, head over to YouTube. Yet Another LARP podcast. We're also on Facebook.
Yet Another LARP podcast.
Yet Another LARP podcast. We're uniform is Yet Another LARP podcast across the board. And we have the Discord, which we've already got some amazing people in there sharing their pictures and stories about their LARP experiences. People asking each other questions. Matt
really
showing off
community.
his gardening skills. And I think he put a gardening meme in the other day, which I saw and continued on my day. What else have we got going on there? Pet pics and stuff.
It's a great little community. So
it is.
Come join it.
It's small, but we're always happy for it to grow.
Yes, indeed.
So childish.
Bye-bye.
Until next time, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Much love.